My friend, have you ever felt this strange moment? You've learned hundreds of words. You know grammar. But when it's time to speak English, your mind goes blank. You stand there. You want to say something, but all you hear in your head is your native language. Don't worry, you're not alone. Many English learners feel the same way. And there's one main reason: you're still translating in your head. Welcome to Kunzy in English. I'm Tom, and today I want to share a secret that can completely change the way you learn English. Here it is. Learn to think in English. This isn't just a small tip. This is a golden skill. This is what will take you from someone who knows English to someone who lives in English. Let's start with reality. When you learn English in school, in classes, or from textbooks, you often learn by translating from your language into English and back again. In the beginning, it makes sense. It's like building a bridge to cross a river. But here's the problem. If you keep using that bridge, you'll never learn how to swim in the English River. Think about it. You want to say, "I'm hungry." Your brain first thinks, "I feel hungry" in your native language. Then you remember the English words, "I am hungry." Then you check grammar. You worry about pronunciation. And by the time you speak, the conversation has already moved on. It's exhausting, isn't it? That's why speaking English feels slow and hard. The problem isn't you. The problem is your strategy. You're translating every sentence, and that's a lot of work for your brain. Imagine this. Every time you want to speak, your brain has to go through 3 doors from image to your native language to English. But native speakers, they only use 1 door: image, English. They're not smarter. They're just not translating. And now you might be asking, okay, but how do I stop translating? How do I start thinking in English? That's the right question. And I'm here to help. But before we get into the how, let's ask a more important question. Why is thinking in English so powerful? Because when you think in English, you don't just speak faster. You understand faster, respond more naturally, and sound more fluent. You don't pause and think, how do I say this? You just say it like you do in your native language. Also, translation isn't just slow, it's often wrong. Because languages have different word orders, different logic. For example, in some languages, the adjective comes after the noun, but in English, it comes before. If you translate word by word, your sentence might sound strange, or even wrong. So here's the solution. Stop translating. Start thinking in English. And the good news? You can learn this skill. It's not magic. It's not talent. It's practice. It's training your brain, one small step at a time. In the next part of this podcast, I'll show you 5 simple and powerful techniques to help you start thinking in English, no matter your level. But first, remember this. Don't feel bad because you translate. It's normal. Your brain is just trying to help you using what it already knows. Now your job is to teach your brain a new habit, and I'll guide you one step, one day at a time. Have you ever felt that you've learned a lot of vocabulary, understood grammar well, but when it's time to speak English, your mind suddenly freezes? You know you can speak, but at the exact moment you try, your brain starts translating. First, you think in your native language, then try to switch it into English. And that's when confidence drops. Your speech slows down or stops completely. Don't worry, that's completely normal. When we learn a new language, our brain looks for the easiest way to process information. That way is your native language. It acts like a bridge between you and English. You stand on one side with your first language, and you're trying to reach the other side where English lives. At first, this bridge is helpful. It gives you support. It feels safe. But if you keep relying on that bridge forever, you'll never fully live in the English world. You'll always pause to translate, compare, and double-check inside your mind, and that slows you down, reduces your fluency, and makes real conversation difficult and unnatural. Imagine you see a table. If your first thought is bon and then you remember, oh, right, table, you're translating. But if you look at it and instantly think table, you're thinking in English. That's our goal. No middle step, no switch, just English coming to your mind naturally first. The reason you freeze when speaking isn't because you lack vocabulary or grammar. It's because your brain hasn't been trained yet to think directly in English. It's still using the old bridge, and you simply need to build a new road. That road can be trained. You don't have to be a genius. You just need the right method and a bit of practice each day. So don't blame yourself if you're still translating. Accept it as a natural part of the learning process. Then start to shift it slowly, one small step at a time. Every time you see an object, try to think of the English word immediately. Every time you want to say something, try to whisper it in English in your head. Every time you practice, you're bringing yourself one step closer to thinking naturally in English. We can't force the brain to forget our first language, but we can gently teach it to operate in a new system, the system of English. And when you do this regularly, something amazing will happen. You'll start speaking faster, reacting more naturally, and most importantly, you won't need to translate anymore. You'll just think in English, as naturally as breathing. Now that you understand why we often translate in our head and why it's a normal part of learning, the next question is, how can you stop translating and start thinking in English naturally? Here are 5 simple ways you can start using today. The first way is to describe what you see around you. When you're walking, cooking, sitting in the kitchen, or just relaxing at home, look around and say things in your mind in English. For example, when you go outside, think, I'm walking to the shop. I see a red car. In the kitchen, think I'm making tea. I'm cooking rice. I'm opening the fridge. If you don't know a word, don't worry. Look it up and write it down. The next time you're in the same situation, your brain will remember the word more easily. This is how you build natural English reflexes, little by little, every day. The second way is to think about your daily plans in English. When you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking in your native language, try thinking, today I will go to work. I will study English. I will meet my friend tonight. At night, before bed, review your day in English. For example, I went to the gym, I watched a movie, I cooked dinner. You don't need to write anything or say it out loud. Just let these simple thoughts flow in your mind. When you do this regularly, your brain starts to operate more in English and less in your first language. The third way is to use visual thinking. This means when you see something, say its name in English immediately. For example, when you see a tree, think tree. Don't think of the word in your own language and then translate. When you see a book, think book. When you see a cup, think cup. Don't compare or translate. Just let the English word come first. Practicing this every day will help your brain react in English naturally, without the need to go through your native language. The fourth way is to use the shadowing technique. This means listening and repeating immediately after a native speaker. You can use a podcast, video, or English audio. Listen to a short sentence and repeat it right away. For example, if the speaker says, "I'm going to the store," you repeat it right after. No pausing, no translating. Try to copy the way they speak, their intonation, their speed, and even the emotion in their voice. At first, it may be difficult, but if you practice for 5 to 10 minutes a day, you will see big improvement. Your speaking reflex will become faster, and your English will sound more natural. The final way is to think in English during simple everyday tasks. These are great moments for practice because they happen all the time, and you don't need to prepare anything. When you're walking, think, "The sun is shining. The wind is cold." When you're cooking, think, "I'm washing the rice. I'm adding salt. The food smells good." When you're cleaning, think, "I'm sweeping the floor. I'm folding the clothes." Just describe the actions using English, like a child learning to speak. This is how your brain will slowly stop translating and start thinking directly in English. Now that you know 5 ways to practice thinking in English, it's time to turn them into a daily habit. You don't need hours of study. Just a few minutes each day with the right routine will make a big difference. Here is a simple 4-step plan you can follow every day to train your brain to think in English naturally. The first step starts in the morning. Right after you wake up, before you check your phone or begin your day, take 1 minute to think about your plan in English. For example, you can think, "Today I will study English. I have a meeting at 10. I want to go for a walk in the afternoon." You can do this while brushing your teeth, drinking your coffee, or getting dressed. You don't need to speak out loud, just think silently. This small habit will activate your English brain first thing in the morning. The second step happens during the day. While you're working, walking, going to the store, or waiting for the bus, look around and describe what you see in English in your mind. For example, you can think, "I see a man walking his dog. She is talking on the phone. There is a red car parked near the gate." If you come across a word you don't know, write it down in your phone or a small notebook. Later, when you have time, look it up and try to use it again the next day. This helps you grow your vocabulary and develop quick thinking in real situations. The third step is shadowing with a podcast. Each day, spend just 5 to 10 minutes listening to an English podcast and repeating what the speaker says. You can use Tom's podcast or any podcast you enjoy. Pay attention to the voice, the rhythm, the emotion, and the stress. Try to copy how they say each sentence, like you're acting in a movie. You don't have to be perfect. What matters is that you're training your mouth and ears to work in English. With regular practice, your listening and speaking reflexes will improve a lot. The final step is at night, before you go to sleep. This is a great moment to review your day in English. When you lie down, close your eyes and relax. Try to think back through your day using English. For example, I went to the supermarket. I made lunch. I watched a video. I called my sister. You don't need to write anything. You don't need to say it to anyone. Just let those simple thoughts flow through your mind. This is a calm and powerful way to train your brain to use English as your natural thinking language. Just 4 steps every day. Each one takes only a few minutes, but if you stick with them, you will feel the change. After 1 week, you'll feel more confident. After 1 month, you'll notice that English is becoming your second thinking language. Trust the process and start today. Have you ever imagined waking up one day and realizing you're thinking in English? Without effort, without translation, without hesitation. It just happens, like breathing. Right now, that might sound like a distant dream, but I want you to know it's possible. And you, my friend, are already on the path to get there. Thinking in English isn't something only smart people can do. It's not a gift for people living abroad or those with fancy degrees. It's a skill. And just like any skill, it can be trained. It starts with the smallest habits. One silent sentence in the morning, one image you name in English, one moment you echo the voice of a native speaker from a podcast. These small, quiet acts, repeated every day, will slowly rewire how your brain works. In the beginning, maybe only a tiny part of your thoughts are in English. And yes, you'll still make mistakes. You'll forget words. You'll catch yourself translating. But that's okay. That's part of the journey. Everyone goes through it. Even the most fluent English speakers you admire, they were once confused, unsure, and full of self-doubt too. The only difference is they kept going. And so will you. One day, something beautiful will happen. While you're doing the dishes, walking outside, or listening to music, English sentences will naturally appear in your mind. You won't have to translate. You won't have to try. You'll be thinking and reacting in English without even noticing. And when that moment comes, you'll smile because you'll know you made it. You did something you once thought was impossible. So if today you still feel stuck, still translating every sentence, still afraid of making mistakes, don't stop. You are on the right path. Keep practicing. Keep being kind to yourself. And most importantly, keep believing in you. Don't wait until you're good to start. Start so you can become good. Don't wait until you're confident to take the first step. Take the first step and confidence will follow. And here's my final message for you. Keep thinking in English. Keep practicing every single day and keep believing you can because you truly can. You've reached the end of this podcast episode, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. Every small step you take brings you closer to speaking English with confidence and ease. And remember, you're not alone. I'm here with you on this journey. If today's episode helped you, take a moment to like the video. It's a small action, but it really helps the channel grow and reach more English learners around the world. If you know someone who's learning English and needs motivation, feel free to share this episode with them. You might be the reason they get started again. And if you want more slow, simple, and inspiring English like this, make sure to subscribe to Kunzy in English. Every week, I'll bring you fresh episodes to help you listen better, speak more naturally, and most of all, believe in yourself as an English speaker. Thanks for being here. Thanks for not giving up. And always remember, you're capable of more than you think. See you in the next episode of Kunzy in English.